Without a shadow of a doubt, it's the drunkest show in social media history. I want to welcome you to another episode of The War Zone. My man Donovan Sadiq, he'll be along in a little bit. I got the queen, Demetra K, and I am the 5-star general. Say, man, it's Thanksgiving, and the question is what are you thankful for? We're going to talk about that as well as say, man, we're going to talk about some stuff today, dog. That's all I can tell you. Get a seatbelt, because it's going down. I want to welcome y'all to another episode of The War Zone and tell you thank you for tuning in. And without you guys, it would not be a show. So we definitely appreciate you for taking the time out to sit and listen to us. I'm going to start it off with this here. I'm in the state of Louisiana, and I got a little more research to do. There's a prominent activist that's using the death of these people that have been dying by the hands of law enforcement and different things as a means of lining your pockets. And I'm going to expose you, homeboy. But I'm going to expose you to a degree that nobody and their mama going to talk to you. And right now, you know where to be found. You're on vacation. You ain't even got that kind of money, Negro. So get what? I'm going to bust your head open. As soon as I get ready to bust it open, once I get all my dots connected, it is what it is. What's going on, D?
Some of everything and nothing at all. So as Gary said, Donovan will be along. He had a little bit of a mishap, I guess you can say. He'll tell you all about it, I'm sure, when and if he is able to come on here. So we're going to talk about, what are you thankful for, that type of stuff. I personally don't celebrate Thanksgiving, but, some people do. And then we're also going to talk about Joe Biden yesterday. He says, America is back. That's what he tweeted. And that's what he said during an interview that he had yesterday. He said, America is back. And when I was talking to Gary right before we came on here, he says, what'd you say, back to what? like what? So, and that.
Yeah, but back to what?
I think that was the initial reaction most people had. I did like, what? Like, what are we back to what? So we're going to get into that. But anyway, I don't know if you guys got a chance to see Barack Obama on The Breakfast Club, where he interviewed with Charlemagne, Angela Yee, and DJ Envy. And he was talking about his book that's on sale now. And I guess in one day it sold almost 1 million copies, which is like, record breaking, I guess. But they asked him some questions, and specifically in regards to Black people. They asked him, what does he think about when people say he didn't do enough for Black people? And, he pretty much said, I'm paraphrasing because it was about an hour interview. He wished that he could have said more and basically stuck up for Black people more. And sometimes he just felt like his hands were tied due to, and I'm paraphrasing again, trying to appease white people. He didn't want to really, piss off too many people. So kind of sounds like he wanted to try to do the middle of the road thing. But, unfortunately, it caused a lot of Black people to doubt him and why they actually sent him to the White House. I thought it was a pretty good interview. I mean, I thought he was sincere in what he was saying for the most part, I guess. But I impress upon you guys to check it out. Nothing really new that he did say too, when he looked back at it, statistically speaking, there were a lot of things that was done for Black people. Unemployment was low for Black people. A lot of Black people got jobs. There was a lot of Black businesses started under his administration. A lot of Black people got health care. So, it was that, lift all boats, all tides, lift all boats type of thing. So what it was done for everybody also benefited Black people It's pretty much what he was saying, but he thinks that he did do things to help Black people. But one thing I found odd is that they didn't ask him specifically about reparations. I thought that was really weird. I would have thought that would have been, the go-to question. Like, at one point in time, you said that you weren't for reparations. Do you still feel that way? So check it out. It came out today on the Breakfast Club.
I'd have asked him. And I would have told him, you ain't did a goddamn thing for Black people. That's what I'd have told him. Because it is what it is. And to sit here now, I wish I would have done this and I wish I would have done that. Well, homeboy, that's over and done with. You didn't have to care about what nobody thought in your second term. You was lame duck. You couldn't run again. You could have did whatever you wanted to do. We make too many excuses at the political level when we should be doing what we need to do. And then all of a sudden we did things for everyone. But you individualized theirs, you didn't individualize ours. We just had to get our crumbs under somebody else's umbrella. So, I'm not a big Obama fan at all. There's nothing he can say at this point that would appease me as far as his performance as it pertains to African Americans, because I feel that he was a failure.
Also, Kamala wants everybody to know that she has a great cornbread recipe for you for Thanksgiving. A cornbread recipe for Thanksgiving. If you don't know how to make it, she's got you covered. Maybe that's something she can do for Black people, is share her her cornbread recipe with everybody.
But the question gonna be, is it the white recipe, the Black one? I mean, which one is it? Because all of them ain't the same. So I mean, she's another one. Man, I don't want to hear nothing that woman got to say, man. And you finna be the vice president of the United States, and you talking about some goddamn cornbread when people dying? Yeah, that's right. That is what it is.
Yeah, and so speaking of Thanksgiving, as I said, I don't really celebrate it at all. I used to back in the day, but once I became aware, I stopped celebrating. As we know, for the indigenous people, the Indians in America, if you will, for them it's nothing to celebrate. They actually consider it a day of mourning, because you guys know in the 1600s, Columbus and them and the Pilgrims and all of them, that came along. They came and destroyed what the Indians had and were doing. And, that's really what Thanksgiving is about. Of course, in school, we learned that, Thanksgiving was a time where the Indians and the Pilgrims got together. Yeah, you remember that, where, they were supposed to be in harmony. They shared their food and, the same old nonsense they try to tell us about slavery. It wasn't that bad. It was, they gave the slaves a Sunday off. And the master gave them good food on Sundays. They let them rest on, that nonsense. And so for a lot of people, they don't really know what Thanksgiving really, where it really stemmed from. A lot of us just think it is a day of thanks to get together with the family and give thanks. But give thanks for what? Who was really, the benefactor of that Thanksgiving that happened so many years ago in the 1600s. But I just really feel like, especially Gary, to your point, because I was actually going to go another direction, but I felt like, what, don't go there, because while Kamala is offering her cornbread recipe to people, there's a lot of people that won't have even cornmeal to make cornbread, right? And especially with this coronavirus going on, the second stimulus check still has not been given. It was like 8 months ago or so. The last stimulus check was given $1,200. I mean, I don't know about anybody, watching, but $1,200 surely would not have lasted you that long. And so Kamala is, part of the Senate, where they can make decisions on passing these, this the CARES Act, the second CARES Act that would extend a lot of benefits to people who are in need, from everyday people to individual to business owners. Just a whole host of people need this money. But here we are on Thanksgiving Eve, if you will. Congress has gone home. I'm sure they're going to have a nice feast, table longer than, football field of food, while the people that they left behind, and the people are the American people, are, having to stand in line. I don't know if you guys seen some of the lines lately, the turkey giveaway. Some people are having to, to depend on somebody. And I saw Brother Damian Jones and his coalition, if you will. They were out there yesterday. I guess they were handing out turkeys to people, going to people's houses and stuff. And so there's a lot of people who were waiting for a turkey, or had to stand in line for hours and hours and hours in hopes of getting some food for Thanksgiving. And so I just kind of wonder what is to be thankful for. I mean, I get it. We're thankful that we woke up and all of that. But especially in America, there's a lot of people who are going to bed hungry tonight and will wake up that way tomorrow on a day that you're supposed to give thanks.
Y'all know I'm coming with that fire. I'm not using Thanksgiving as a day to be thankful. I'm thankful every single day. I don't need to single it out. I don't need to spend a bunch of money to be thankful for waking up on March 17th. April 16th. Maybe I was thankful on July 9th. I'm thankful every single day. All these holidays are designed to do is to line somebody's pocket. That's all they designed to do. And you black folk need to wake up, because the day after Thanksgiving should be nigger day. Know why? It's Black Friday. Your black ass gonna spend every dollar you got, because that's the way it's set up. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm thankful. I don't sell it. I don't get gung ho on birthdays and none of that, because every day is a special day. Every day that you wake up, you should be thankful. But I'm more in tune with you. Should you be thankful that these people ain't sent you $1,200 yet? So you were supposed to survive a whole year off of $2,400. I bet you're thankful. And they $1,200 short right now. How thankful are you for that? And for all of those that are not in need of needing a Thanksgiving Day meal, y'all just showing up because that was the deal. In the lines where they giving away the turkeys, you showing up to get your payment for your vote. So hurry up and get your gobble, 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 gobble ass over there and go get your turkey for your vote, because ain't shit changed for the better. We were better off last Thanksgiving than we are this Thanksgiving. So how thankful should I be? I'm just telling the real, man.
Yeah, and it is said that I think it's 125 or something like that. Economists are impressing upon Congress to pass a bill. They're like, y'all need to do something, because this economy is not going to last that much longer. And if you guys know, a couple of days ago, the stock market hit an all-time high of 30,000 points. 30,000, which is a record. And this guy on Twitter, and I'm going to try to remember, he says, so the stock market was at 30,000. You still have, I think 47% of people are out of work. There still hasn't been any, sign of stimulus or help for people. 40 million plus people are looking at evictions when this moratorium is up. But it said that the billionaires and the millionaires, they're the ones that continue to make more and more money at the expense of the poor who were struggling. And so, while it's the stock market did well, the average person did not do well. They're doing worse. And so again, like, it's not even to be negative or pessimistic, but what is there really to be thankful for, especially in America, when you know that on Thanksgiving Eve, nothing has changed for a lot of people. And Janelle, I agree with you. There's a lot of people who lost their lives this year due to the coronavirus. And I'm sure their families are not very grateful or thankful really for something that could have been avoided. And Barack Obama talked about that as well during his interview. They asked him, it says, Trump got rid of the pandemic team, which he did, that Obama set in place. He says, do you think if, I think it was Indy asking me, do you think if the pandemic team was still in place that we would be where we are? He says, no, we wouldn't have lost as many lives as we lost now. So, I mean, it's a mess. And I agree with you, Gary. I don't think anybody should be going, Black Friday shopping. Cash is king. You ever remember people say cash is king? Like, hold on to all your money. We have no business being in these malls. Because guess who's getting richer? It's that, those the millionaires and the billionaires that benefited greatly off of the stock market hitting an all-time high. They're making more and more money. And we as the 99%, if you will, keep fueling the machine. They talked about that in the Communist Manifesto. The machine, the ones that owns the means of production are the 1%. And the 99%, which is us who aren't millionaires and billionaires, we're like sheeple to where we continue going to these stores, continue giving our money to these millionaires and billionaires, thinking we need the latest TV, the latest shoes, the PS5, and all this other stuff. And then come January 1st, what are we going to do? Oh my God, I don't know how I'm going to pay my rent. All my bills are due. Oh, they going to cut my phone off. But everybody's got what they need. And I guarantee you, while your phone is still on, you can't call one of these millionaires and billionaires and say, hey, you know what? I spent a lot of money in your store. You think you can help me with my phone bill or my rent? You're not even going to be able to get through it. So it doesn't make any sense to keep on, as they say, fueling the machine. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, with the holidays, I've always had a philosophy. Why is it that any holiday that's tied to Black people, they don't tie it to the economy? Really, what holiday we got? Martin Luther King Day. Now, every other holiday requires you to spend a busload of money. Go look at it. Valentine's Day is not a holiday, but you made it a day where we got to freak off a bunch of money. Christmas, Thanksgiving, 4th of July, Memorial Day, we spending a bunch of money, man. This is how your economy is able to do what it does. And a lot of people want the stimulus to come through because it's going to infuse the economy. Because as soon as you get the $1,200, you got to spend it. They've starved you like a crackhead for 8-9 months. For $1,200. I don't know where y'all stay. But if you just got to pay rent, that's gone. If you behind on your rent over 2 months, no matter where you at, that's gone. But these people don't have the decency to think that it's urgent that you get that $1,200. The people that's got to fight for it, they don't give a damn. Because they ain't hurting for $1,200. But you are. So yeah, I'm trying to figure out what we need to be thankful for. All these innocent people dead because people didn't want to make executive decisions. You still have certain states that are closing down. Some states are open. We're going to close the restaurants, but we're going to leave the clubs on. Is you people stupid? And I got to say it in abundance. Is you people stupid? If you shut down one, you shut down everything. But we need to be thankful that the grave digger is making a bunch of money. If you could put the grave diggers on the stock market, you'd be making money out the roof. I was in a meeting with a dude that's in the funeral business. I'm like, dude, y'all making all the money right now. So be thankful that you got a grave digger that's in your circle of friends. Because at least you'll get taken care of first, then.
Speaking of which, the other day, we went to the cemetery to visit someone who had passed their gravesite, and there's probably 5 to 6 funerals that were getting ready to happen that day. Because you know, if you go to the graveyard, you see the tents up and the hole in the ground where they're going to lower somebody. It was like 5 or 6 at least, and this was a Monday. And I'm like, what's going on? Like, are these coronavirus, victims? Like, what's really going on? And so, that's another thing. While we should not be out there spending our money on Black Friday and all of that, Thanksgiving, we've been asked to social distance, to not participate in a large gathering. But you guys all have social media, and you guys are seeing people on there. They're preparing a feast for many. It's like people aren't really paying attention. And so, I don't know. To me, the whole thing is just really beyond sad, really, because we're in this situation. We're in a situation where people can't go outside. People can't really live their normal lives, if you will. Lots of people lost jobs. And again, you think about people, like when you say somebody's lost their jobs, ordinarily you think of somebody who lost a job is a job to anybody. I don't care what it is. But you think about somebody on maybe in the service industry, they've lost a job, the bar is closed, the restaurant's closed, or the gym or whatever. But this thing has affected people from all walks of life. Like, I read articles of people who had, 6-figure incomes and all their savings are gone. They don't know what they're going to do. The unemployment in a lot of states haven't come through. Their stuff is just lost in the system. In California, you have Bank of America is taking money off of people's cards because they think it's fraud. There are people who are missing like $10,000 to $16,000 just completely gone. They were back paid because they've been waiting all this time. Bank of America somehow thinks it's some fraud, and so they freeze the account, they take the account. And so these people already, like, that money is already gone for them. And so you have people who are just going through all of this, just this unnecessary drama and trauma. I don't really understand how a person can even be in the mood to want to go spend a lot of money, be out there shopping and being festive. Like, I don't try to attach myself to other people's trauma a lot, but I do think that I should be in solidarity with people who are going to struggle and who are struggling, and not, personally be out there flaunting it like, hey, I'm in the mall shopping, I'm buying all of this stuff. I just, I think we should dial it down a little bit.
Gonna be a bunch of dead Negroes around here after Thanksgiving. Say, man, I'm gonna tell you like this, you got to make some executive decisions. You already got people. This not everybody. It's some of y'all. Y'all already got some people in your family that don't even wash their hand after they finish peeing. I'd be damned if they just go in there and just wash their hands 20 times a day. You already finna catch the COVID. If not the COVID, you're gonna get the crabs. You're gonna get something. So the thing is you're gonna have to make some executive decisions. Stop waiting for these people to give you guidance. These people don't know what they're doing, man. If these people knew what they were doing, it wouldn't be that many people that have lost their lives. And we still depending on these people to tell us what to do. You shouldn't gather for Thanksgiving. But you motherfuckers is gathering, giving them turkeys away. You making them people come out there to get them turkeys. See, something ain't right, man. Maybe I ain't right. I'm already 2 sandwiches short of a picnic. So, you can do anything you want as a politician, create crowds and all that stuff there. But then you got the nerve to tell somebody you can't have but this many people at your house for Thanksgiving. I'm thankful I don't listen to them.
Yeah, I mean, and to your point, I mean, do you really need government officials or anybody to tell you, hey, you know what, you might want to stay home, social distance? Because I hear people saying, well, they need to do this and they need to do that. They need to tell us this. You already know, hell, this thing has been going around. Well, really, this thing has been here since last year. We didn't know about it, but we found out about it overall in March. And so you've heard all of the things you're supposed to do, all the things you're not supposed to do. It's like, why do you need somebody to tell you, hey, stay out of crowds, wear your mask when you go out, why do you need people to tell you that? Like, I get tired, honestly, of seeing people, especially on my timeline or in the news, crying, oh, we knew that we weren't supposed to do this, but we knew.
Say, let me ask you a question. Where is the data from how many people died from the COVID for wearing their mask?
I don't know. I mean, there's been a lot of people. There's no feedback. There's been a lot of people who have said they didn't know how they got it. They said they stayed home and they wore their mask and, all of that. And so, I mean, that's really a good question. But, to me, the best way I heard it is masks are like condoms. They're not 100%. Just like, as a man wears a condom and you don't want a baby with this woman, maybe you shouldn't be with that woman because the condom is 99%, effective or something like that. I'd imagine the mask is the same thing. And so, if you're wearing masks at a party, you're probably more than likely to get it than if you were just going in and out of the grocery store or something like that.
Well, look here. You got the mask on, right? And some of these people's breath is funky to begin with. So the funky breath come out the side of the mask. It come out the side. So you telling me that if I put this mask on and that motherfucker mouth stinking like garbage with that funky breath syndrome and it's coming out the side of the masses, I ain't gonna get it.
Well, I guess it's more effective if everybody is wearing a mask. And so if I'm not wearing a mask and you are, that cuts your chances in half that you may get it, right? But if we're both wearing a mask, then, there's a larger chance that your funky breath coming outside of the mask will not affect me as much as it would if I was not wearing a mask. And so, again, nothing is absolute, nothing is foolproof, if you will. The best thing you can do is, I hate to keep using this analogy, but abstain if you do not want to suffer the consequences. It's the same thing. I mean, I'm invited to go places all the time. Parties, all kind of stuff. And I'm like, first of all, you got to be kidding me if you think I'm going to show up to your party during the coronavirus. And, sure enough, when I look back on the pictures, when, they post them all over Facebook, it's like not one person had one mask on in that picture. Not even
let me ask you a question. How do we know that the mask actually work? Because if you ain't sick, right? If you sick, you go to the doctor, right? Yeah. They diagnose you, tell you have the COVID. Okay. But if I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, then how they know the mask? Who came up with the ideologies that the mask is gonna work?
Well, because the virus, if you will, is airborne, and it's also, when people talk, they tend to spit or project, spittle is what they call it. And so the mask is to stop that. The mask is to stop the saliva from flying all over the place. And, the virus content, whatever it is airborne from escaping. So it's a block, if you will. So if you're wearing your mask and I'm wearing mine, then it lessens the chances of the disease spreading. So that's the ideology behind the mask.
I think a whole bunch of them ain't smart at all. So I'm just telling y'all, if your homeboy wear the mask and you can still smell his mouth across the room, and it's like he got a big old Buddha in his mouth, the mask is not working.
And you might want to wear two masks if you weren't working around somebody like that. But you say, is Biden gonna waive college debt or not, or was it all a lie? He says, he and Kamala said that they are, but to the tune of $10,000. Well, we know that $10,000 is cute, but it's not enough. Total student loan debt totals that of about $1.5 trillion. So $10,000 per person, it's not really going to make a big difference. There's a lot of people with astronomical student loan debt, and I know a lot of people say, well, it's not fair. They shouldn't get rid of student loan debt. I didn't accrue student loan debt, or I paid mine off, and I say good for you. But $1.5 trillion being forgiven, we're talking about people who are a lot of doctors and lawyers. They still have student loan debt to the tune of hundreds of thousands of dollars, but they're vital to the economy. So if you free all that money up, then people start to spend again. My daughter's teacher, he was in debt to the tune of almost $500,000, getting his doctorate and all of that. And the loan is tied to his parents' house. And so he can never default on those loans, because if he does, then, they take his parents' house. But, was it silly for him to get that much debt? I don't know. We need teachers, right? We need lawyers. We need doctors. I mean, everybody is not able to go and spend a whole bunch of money on school. And as I said before, especially with the 2008 housing crash, a lot of people's jobs completely went away. So it wasn't like, okay, just laid off, come back. The industries, in some cases, went away. And a lot of people had to go to school, for one, to learn another skill or trade or degree, and for survival. That those loans was survival for a lot of people. And so if they're going to get rid of corporate debt, if you will, give all these big giant corporations bailouts, and they should give the American people a bailout, because if you're giving the airline industry a bailout and you're not giving the American people a bailout, well, who the hell is going to buy all these damn plane tickets?
Well, they gonna get what they voted for. I want to wait to say I told you so. That's all I'm waiting on. Let your man get up in there. He already backtracking on some stuff already. He already backtracking. So I just want him to get in there the first day, do what we say he gonna do. Because if not, he done lied to a bunch of people. And let's see what he working with. I'm just at that point, transition time, then it is what it is. But I don't trust him as far as I trust any of the rest of them to tell the truth and do what they say they're going to do. All of them lie. We fall for the lies. We get nothing out of the deal, and we're satisfied with that. So take your ass to the nearest Turkey Depot before in the morning, gobble, 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 and get what you got for voting for these suckers. Go get your turkey for your vote. Now, what's this stuff Biden talking about? America is back. Back to what?
So it was yesterday that he tweeted, and he had an interview that said America's back. Now, I'm assuming he meant that when Trump, his administration lost pretty much all of the lawsuits that he was engaged in trying to swing the election in his favor. Trump was saying there was fraud and, a whole lot of things going on with the ballots. They were trying to get some ballots disqualified and thrown out. It didn't work. So it sounds like yesterday also Trump pretty much conceded in a roundabout way, pretty much acknowledged, hey, that was it. I'll be out of here in January. And so I think that's probably where Joe Biden was going with the America's back. But again, if you're thinking about it in relation to Black people, and that's where I always think first, what the hell does it mean that America is back? Because, when I hear America is back, I think of MAGA. Sounds like MAGA to me. Gary, your microphone's on me. Yeah, it sounds like MAGA to me. Remember when Trump and them, before he got into office and while he was in office, they kept saying, make America great again. It almost sounds like a play on MAGA, America is back. And so I went with Gary. I'm like, back to what? Back to mass incarceration? You know, back to locking people up for low-level offenses? I mean, like, what is it back to? Is it back to you being proud of writing all these crime bills? Is it back to you, you know, calling integration of Black kids going to white schools, creating a racial jungle? I mean, what exactly are we going back to? Are we going back to the things like an Obama administration, which Biden was a part of, when you were destabilizing African governments like that of Muammar Gaddafi in Libya, where you completely, you know, took out their leader, Muammar Gaddafi, because he was trying to unify African people around the world, you know, and where now in Libya, there's full-fledged slavery, human trafficking, sex trafficking, you know, and a whole host of other, like, so what are we actually getting back to? Are we getting back to, again, with the Obama administration, where they, you know, made it easier for police officers, but didn't care really not a lot about Black people who were being murdered wholesale by these police officers? Both Joe and Kamala are very pro-police, and they're talking about giving more money to the police. We know that police especially is adverse to the Black community, which those are the things that they set in motion, especially Biden. As he said, I'm the author of every major and minor crime bill since 1976. So what is America going back to? Like, how is America back? Back to what? And I just think, like, you know, a lot of people who voted for Joe Biden, I really believe they were just like, hey, as long as Trump is gone. But start to listen to what these people are saying. Joe Biden told us before he took the presidency, or president-elect at this point, that he was going to continue the status quo. That ain't good for nobody, especially Black people.
I'm reading Saul's comment. I'll put it up. Just asking, why is it that way? And things are happening. Thank God for our democracy. I tell you what we're back to. We're back to hiding racism. We're back to not acknowledging that white supremacy exists. We're back to treating African Americans like third-class citizens. We're back to not educating poor children, no matter what color they are. Oh, we back, man. We back, and you ain't got your $1,200 yet. I guess it's backed up. But we back. We so back, man. We can't even invite 5 people to the house for Thanksgiving. We back. I'll be glad when we front. Look, man, the Universal Circus just left Houston. You need to find out where they're going next. And if you can find out where they're going next, call DC and tell them put Joe and Kamala on the plane, because they real job done stopped in the next city. And they missing 2 clowns. We back. Wow. I thought last year I was living in a horrible situation, but now we back. I'll be damned. Poke pussy is greasy.
Oh my God. Yeah, I mean, could also mean that is back, you know, because before Trump came into office, there was the Obama administration. And a lot of people, you know, I would imagine voted for Biden on the strength of, you know, the Obama administration was good. So a lot of people thought, you know, I will concede the point that Obama was very eloquent in how he spoke, and he has some sense, if you will. So I guess to a lot of people, it's going to be refreshing to have civility back in the White House. You know, with Trump in there, was that was the real circus, okay? I mean, just, you never knew what the dude was going to tweet in the middle of the night. And, you know, whether you're a Trump fan or not, I think you have to admit that Trump, he screwed up a lot of things for people, and he took care of, the very rich. That's what he did, and everybody else is struggling to figure out how they're going to put 2 turkey legs on the table tomorrow. So, but when Biden says America is back, I think that's very concerning. And I don't think anybody really should be applauding that just yet. Like, what do you mean America is back? And who is that good for?
We're back to not having a wall, and they didn't never finish the wall. But I guess we're back to just people being able to come over here and kill us. We're back to illegal immigrants taking all our jobs. We're back to giving rights to people that are not birth citizens of the United States, especially voting rights, when you have a set of black people here that every 25 years you got to think about it. So we're back to normal. I'm going to tell y'all something, man. A lot of people get totally upset with what we say. I'm going to put this up because I'm going to speak on it. But we get to say what you only wish you could. You want to say what we saying. So Angela said it can mean a lot of things. Let's stop being negative and assuming things. Pray God got us. First of all, I told you a few weeks ago, address me as Big Daddy. You didn't put that in the front. I might have to put you on punishment for 30 days. But here's my thing. I'm not assuming anything, because when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. I'm not assuming anything. And I keep telling you, pray God got us. I don't read the slave manual. Ain't nobody finna save us but us. Ain't nobody finna save us but us. And every time somebody want to talk about Joe, they got to throw God in the equation. Man, well, God gonna take care of this. No, Joe need to take care of this. His job. God got some other things to do. Joe Biden need to do a goddamn job. And right now, his job is to reassure you that he's gonna do the things that he promised to do. And you can't even get reassurance right now. That already tell me Joe ain't gonna do a goddamn thing.
But why is it being negative, Angela, when people are just asking questions? How is that negative? The man said that America is back. We want to know exactly what that means, because America being back for especially Black people is not a good thing. There's never been a time in America where Black people had it good. Like everything was just all of that, right? There's never been a time. And so America's back. That's very concerning for me. And then your last point says, pray God got us. Is you for real? Is you serious? We gonna pray that God has got us. That's to me, when I hear people say that, because I'm a praying person too, not religious at all, but I do believe in prayer. But to me, to say, well, God's got us, that's lazy. That is very lazy. So you're going to give all your responsibilities to God. And, it sounds like maybe you go to church. I don't know, but it says faith without the works is dead. Also, God gives you wisdom, and he asks you to use wisdom. And so you have to ask yourself, was it wise for me to go into the booth and vote for Joe Biden on the strength of him getting rid of Trump, him being in the Obama administration? Now you want to hand it off to God? God ain't the author of confusion. He asked you to make it do what it do. And now you potentially, effed up the rotation for everybody. Now you want to tell God to get us? No, that's not how it works. You're supposed to do the heavy lifting. It's crazy. It's like, God also says, don't force me to give you a miracle. So you go and you put in Joe Biden, who says, America's back. He's going to continue the status quo. And now you want to say God's got us? That is not how it works. Please stop lying on God.
And as I look at all the races and I read and I see things, why we the only race on this day, 2020, praying that Joe do the right thing? You know why? Because the rest of them already know what they're going to get. They already know they set. They straight. But see, we got to pray. I love the Lord, he heard my cry. We got to pray Joe do the right thing. But ain't no other race of people going through that. Joe ain't no better than one of your Bible thumping pastors that's passing that collection plate around in the church 3 or 4 times. And like they say in my neighborhood, come January 20th, Joe finna fuck up the church's money.
Yeah, it's definitely one to watch, but yeah, just you know, that's the church, and this is partially why I stopped going to church. The church is, especially in our community, it hinders us. The church ties our hands. It tells us that we are powerless. Given, because my grandmother used to say that. Oh, let go and let God. And I, for the longest, I just scratched my head like, what does that mean? Does that mean we don't do anything at all? We just let go and let God? So like I said, I mean, religion has really effed up Black people. Just really effed us up in a major way. And then after religion, Christianity did it. Guess who came up from behind? The Democrats. The Democrats came from one end, you know, and we getting it from both ends, from Christianity and Democrats. And look at the condition of our people, because we are lazy and we wait for other people to do what we should be doing for ourselves.
I'm calling heaven right now. Hold on, they got me on hold. Yes, ma'am. This is okay. So you already know who I am, Gary Monroe. Well, look here. I need to speak to the head angel in charge. I don't care what he's doing. Tell him stop. Okay, thank you. Hold on, they got me on hold. Hold on. God, this is Gary. You know, my little mama down here. Yeah, Angela, my little mama. Angela, God say you need to put Big Dad in front of every comment. Yeah, what I wanted to ask you is Angela said to put you first. You can stop quoting the scriptures. I don't want to hear all that. Well, I'm going to tell you what you do. I will put you first when you put us Negroes at least third. I don't give a damn if you lock the gate when I get there. I know how to pick the lock, homeboy. Yeah, you're right. Me and you really don't kick it with each other. I call you when I get ready. You're supposed to be my savior, ain't you? And I need you to do something about these crosses. You know the ones them people be burning in folks' yards? Do you do anything about that when they come up there? Okay. I tell you what, yeah. But for real, if you can, since we got to put you first, can you put us at least third? All right, big homie.
Whoo, if there's a hell below, we all gonna go. But no, seriously, I often wonder this. So, like I said, I'm a praying person. I do believe in prayer and all of that. I'm not a total heathen. But when I hear us say, oh, you know, all we got to do is pray, God is going to work it out. Who were the slaves praying to? Were they praying to the same God as white people? Because that's, you know, especially over here, that's the God they were taught to pray to, right? They were taught to pray to the same God the slave master was praying to. So why weren't the slaves' prayers answered? And you know, the master's obviously his prayers were answered. Y'all don't think that slaves were on their knees day and night praying for delivery, praying for God to, you know, take them out of the horrible circumstances they were in? Why do you guys think Nat Turner took place? Nat Turner read the Bible and learn the truth for himself. And he ended up, using critical thinking skills. And he was like, nah, ain't no God gonna come do for us what we should be doing for ourselves. And that's why he, led one of the only successful revolutions in the United States, because he knew God was not going to come deliver Black people out of the condition they were in. He knew it was either do or die. He knew that freedom was not free, and waiting on, somebody said, as they say, a mystery God, if you will, to descend down and say, listen, massa, stop whooping them, stop raping them, stop murdering them. He knew that was not going to happen. And so he took matters into their own hands. And here we are as Black people in 2020, still waiting for a mystery God, as some people would say, a spook, to come down and out of thin air and deliver us from where we're at. No, that's on us. We got to be Nat Turner. We got to be that Moses that y'all read in the Bible. We got to deliver ourselves from the situation that we find ourselves in.
Angela said, God forgive them, for they do not know what they do. Y'all need to stop playing with God. Well, I want you and whoever you praying to know one thing. I know exactly what the hell I'm doing. And what I ain't finna do is allow no church on no corner, no crooked pastor, none of that to control my critical thinking. I'm not going to do it. I think there's a bunch of plagiarism that is going on with the Bible. You that's why you got so many different versions of it. I mean, if you don't like me, you'll just say, I don't like 5-star. If you wrote it down on a piece of paper, that's what it should say every time you write it down. But in your Bible, there's so many different versions. The King James Version, the LeBron James Version, the James Evans Version. You got all kind of versions of Bibles, and we can't really understand what the hell is going on. So here's my thing. We've been waiting to be delivered for 400 years. We've been waiting for help for 400 years. But everybody else seems to get the help that they deserve and they want when they've been mistreated as a people. But we got to keep waiting. We got to keep studying us. How many ass whoopings you need to study for you to figure out that you owe us our money, man? And if you really just don't want to give us our money, just give us what you owe our people. 40 acres and a mule. You won't even give us the goddamn land in the jackass. And you want us to keep believing in this American dream that was never a dream for us. It's been a fucking nightmare since we got off the boats. And what you don't want me to do, Black people, some of y'all, you don't want me to tell the truth. You want me to sit here and placate you. And you want me to, it's God. Yes. But you're missing some scriptures in the Bible. Didi, I think they missing something. They missing, I know they missing this one. This is probably in Luke. Thou shall let the police officers bust your ass. That's one of the ones that got misplaced when they was writing the James Evans version. Thou shall allow these people to drop guns and ammunition in your neighborhoods for you to kill yourself. That's in the Bible, because you attribute everything in there to God. You find a way to twist it around. So tell me what scripture that is. And the one I've been looking for and I can't find in 52 years. Thou shalt get your head pushed in for 400 years. Now, maybe I might send myself to hell, and that's a charge I'm going to have to take. But I'm not going to keep waiting for no blue-eyed, long hair, white Jesus to show up and save me, because ain't showed up yet. I can't keep believing in it. When your husband don't come home from the club, is he out laying hands? Or is he out getting his freak on? You ain't finna wait. Why we got to keep waiting for these dreams to come true? We living in a nightmare and we've been in one for 400 years.
And you notice how Negroes will say, there's some feedback. You notice how Negroes will say, we need to wait on God when it comes to white people. But when it comes to our own stuff, we don't want to do that. We want to wait for God, pray to God in regards to Joe Biden. That is the silliest thing I've ever heard. Well, almost. It ranks up there. We're pretty silly. I thought you were pretty confident and sure when you went into the voting booth that you were making the right decision. Now we got to pray and wait on God to hope we made the right, not we, y'all, made the right decision.
So let me ask you a question, since we're talking about it, and that might be a subject we can expound on. Is the Bible correct?
I mean, it really depends on who you ask.
I mean, but according to a lot of people, those are the words, and they are correct. Not to some of us, but to the bulk of the people.
Right.
So if those are the words that are correct, and that's the blueprint that we live by, then why you fornicate? If those are the words that are correct that we live by, why have you been and accepted the gay and lesbian lifestyles? That contradicts what's in the book you telling me to read. You don't get to pick and choose what chapters you want me to read. I'm just asking because if the book is correct, and it's a true interpretation of exactly what was said and what was supposed to happen, then why won't you acknowledge that God was just as black as Gary Monroe? Black people won't even acknowledge it because you're just as brainwashed as your predecessors.
Yep. And black people, we are so forgiving too, especially we use the Bible to forgive people. So you forgave Eddie Long or didn't even think about even letting that cross your mind because he just didn't do it. But then every time you bring up Trump's name, and again, I'm not a Trump fanatic at all. I don't love the guy. But when you bring up Trump's name, you want to talk about all the rape allegations and stuff like that. And he can't be forgiven. But you're forgiving people who who align more with what you want to align with. And so to me, I just think a lot of people are confused when it comes to religion and how they want to use it. As you have these Christians who will pick and choose from the Bible. They gloss over all the other stuff that really pertains to them, but they'll use the stuff that, to manipulate people. And I think that's, Angela, I know you think that we are blaspheming God, if you will. We're not doing that because for a lot of people, and me included, we believe that we are God, right? And as the Reverend Ike said so many years ago, he says, how is it that you believe in a God in the sky you ain't never seen, but you don't believe in yourself? How do you do that? How do you believe in something you've never seen, but you doubt somebody you see every day? Like how do you find the audacity to do that? And
let me ask you a question. Mm-hmm. You said they forgave Eddie Long. Am I correct?
They never.
So you forgive a gay pastor who did all that, right? Am I right, D? But you won't forgive Bill Cosby. You won't forgive R. Kelly. But you'll forgive Eddie Long. How many of them priests that mess with them babies did they forgive? They're closer to God than we're supposed to be. And you'll forgive them. If I call a woman a bitch right now, some of y'all ain't gonna never forgive me. But you'll forgive a gay pastor? I bet you was in the back laying hands. Eddie Long is a parasite. And if you can forgive all these people, then everybody should be forgiven. You don't get to pick and choose, because now you playing God. You don't get to pick and choose, man. Eddie Long, you know, how young was some of his victims?
Well, they came out with the allegations when they were adults. They say as young as, I think maybe 12, 13, somewhere around there.
But 12, 13, but we forgave him.
And called them liars.
But we will not forgive R. Kelly. Matter of fact, let's just get off R. We won't forgive Bill Cosby for giving somebody a fucking pill and they was an adult. But we'll forgive the gay pastor. What church you go to? The Church of Almighty Long Dick. Man, go on, get off my page, man, with that, man. I'm on some real. Or the First Missionary Baptist Church of Skeet 'em Up.
I mean, you can even bring it to something as recent as Ice Cube. Ice Cube didn't do anything but try to go to bat for black people. And there's black people who would never forgive Ice Cube. They done canceled the man. They, claim they're not going to listen to his stuff no more. Ain't going to watch his movies. But then when it comes to Joe Biden, well, he's changed. He said he made a mistake. We need to give him a chance. Let's wait and see what he does. But Ice Cube, oh, hell no. The Ice Cube, as far as y'all concerned, he could just, die. Just die right now. He's committed a cardinal sin against you as a person, and you can never forgive him. And so that's why, me personally, I have a hard time taking a lot of people seriously, because you talk out of both sides of your mouth. And for those of you guys who read the Bible, God says not to be lukewarm. He says, if you're lukewarm, I will spit you out like vomit. He says, pick a side. You're either going to be cold or you're going to be hot. And a lot of y'all,
some of them ain't lukewarm, but they get that lukewarm hot juice skeeted in their face.
Oh my God. Yeah, okay. But yeah, so a lot of y'all are lukewarm. You talk about forgiving people, but you won't forgive people who look like you. You won't forgive black people for trying to help you, but you will forgive Joe Biden for hurting you. It is just so, but I get it. We're brainwashed, and we could never ever see ourselves not forgiving Massa. Oh, he's sorry now. Massa said he was sorry. He's never gonna do it again. He made a mistake. For 50 years, he, did black people so wrong. But it's like, come on, really? But Ice Cube takes his plan to both parties, and y'all hate him. It's just, what is wrong with you guys? And then you like stand firm on the nonsense. So Angela, you don't need to pray for us. I think you need to pray for you, so you can, get your understanding rearranged, so you can see things a little bit more clearly. But you don't need to pray for me. I mean, I'll take it, but there's no real, I'm not in dire straits, right? I have knowledge of self. I know where I'm going and who I am. I don't need to cling on to something that makes me lazy and gives me a false sense of hope.
I don't have the time to go back and forth with people about that. I feel a certain way. I'm not going to change how I feel. I feel that, and that, Friday, let's talk about the church. Let's talk about the church. The misrepresentation of God in the church. Because y'all selling pussy at the church. Y'all fucking in the back of the church. You done put ATMs in the church. You got people that got more sin in them than I've ever seen in anything sitting on the front pew of the church. So let's talk about the church. I really want to fuck up the church's money Friday. Final thoughts, Demetri.
Yeah, my final thoughts are while we are as a country, I guess the world, I'm gonna go celebrate Thanksgiving. I will not be doing that as I never do because I understand what it's really about. But even if I did partake in Thanksgiving, I wouldn't feel right doing it, knowing that as there's so many people who don't have a lot to be thankful for at this moment. And I know, Black Friday is coming up. I would impress upon you, I can't tell you what to do, but think twice and three times before you go out there and give these big giant corporations more money that they do not need and they will not give back to help you when it comes January 1st, when the rent is due and these moratoriums are up and you'll be looking for a place to live, which you pay PlayStation 5, Jordans, and give you big giant new TVs. So see y'all Friday.
Well, I'm gonna say this here because Angela say not at her church. Well, I'm gonna tell you what, little mama, it's like this here. It's a lot of stuff going on at the church that you have no knowledge of. It's a lot of stuff going on at the church, and every time you look up, the church is caught up in some foolishness. So I want to thank you for giving us the subject matter for Friday, because I'm finna mess up the church's money Friday. I'm gonna mess up the church's money Friday. For those that celebrate Thanksgiving, have a great day tomorrow. Enjoy as much of your family as you can enjoy. Stay safe and make executive decisions. You know what I'm saying? But for me, it's a work day for me. I got 3 proposals I need to work on, and God, I need some help. But I don't think He gonna show up and help me. He gonna tell me you got to get that on, or do I need to call him again for y'all? No matter to me. So I'm gonna keep it 100 every day, whether you like it or not. Say, man, I want to thank you for tuning in. Another eventful conversation from the best in the business. I'm gonna thank my good friend Demetri K. On behalf of my other friend Donovan Sadiq. I am the 5-star general, and this has been the War Zone. Tonight, Love in the Zone, 9 o'clock. Where the freaks at? Will a threesome enhance your marriage, or will it mess up your marriage? Tonight, we're going to talk about it. Until Friday, my friends, with the War Zone, we'll holler at you.